Today, I'm going to share with you some of the insights that Neville Goddard had in his amazing book called Out of This World. This is from chapter 1. It totally aligns with what I teach in my Mega Manifestation Method course, which you can get if you look at the link below, because I've been studying this stuff for over 50 years. I absolutely love the metaphysical teachers and what they teach us about how to use our minds to free ourselves from anxiety, from stress, from pain, from misery, from fear. Once you get over your fears, you can do a lot more amazing things because fear blocks us. The minute your body goes into that state of fear, if you're fearful of other people or what you hear on the news or what's going on in the world, it keeps you from being sovereign. So let's think about what Neville says in this amazing book, Out of This World. He quotes from St. John, chapter 14, verse 29, right away. And it says, "And now I have told you before it come to pass, that when it is come to pass, ye might believe." Now, what he's referring to, and that verse is referring to, is that once we understand that we can know things before they happen, we become prophets. And we all have that ability. We just need to know how to relax and listen. Many times I've had prophetic dreams. One time I was in Osaka, Japan on a layover, beautiful hotel room. I had this weird dream about an airplane that was flying around in a big circle, and everyone was looking up at it, wondering how it was going to land. I get back to my home in Massachusetts. I turn on the news, and there's United's Flight 232 catapulting down the runway in Sioux City, Iowa. And it had flown in a big circle because it had lost its rudder. And it was kind of like I had a premonition of that. Another time I had a dream of a building coming down, and I turned on the TV when I woke up in the morning, and the news was showing live this building going down in Oklahoma City. And I had dreamed the very same thing during the night, even though it hadn't happened yet. So Neville explains in this chapter that things that have not really happened in the three-dimensional world could already be happening in the fourth dimension, because there's a time lag. There is no time in higher dimensions. We have time here in the 3D world. And everything that has happened in the 3D world started in the higher dimensions, because this is the manifestation of the cause, which is God. And you are a co-creator using your mind to work with that divine energy if you so choose. Now, you have a carnal mind and you have a spiritual divine mind, which is the Christ consciousness. And if you learn how to work with your higher consciousness, like Neville explains in all the mystics, you need to learn how to go within. He has a beautiful way of explaining it. He says, step 1, you must get clarity on what you desire. And it has to be a desire, a really strong desire. Best times to manifest something into the 3D world is when you're up against the wall, you've got no choice, you surrender. You really need to move, or you really need that job, or you really want to meet someone that can help you. And it happens because the desire is strong. That's part of what makes things manifest. If it's lukewarm, not so good. So you need to get clarity and construct an event that will happen after you have manifested your desire. For instance, years ago, I wanted to build a house. So I wrote it in my notebook, the kind of house I wanted to build 2 miles from the beach. I walked through the rooms in my imagination. I felt like I was living in the house. Within a year, I built a house 2 miles from the beach, and it turned out to be just like I had imagined. I've done that a lot with moves because I've moved a lot as a crew member. And, if you feel like you're living in the place that you want to be in already, it will show up, because in the fourth dimension, the higher, the expanded realm, the spiritual dimension, there are no limits to how things can fall into place. In the three-dimensional world, we're limited, right? We can only see so far, hear so far with our senses. But with our higher mind, our spiritual sense, everything's possible. And that's what Neville explains so beautifully. So number one, you have to know what you desire. Number two, you have to go into that state akin to sleep, which is a meditative state. We call it the alpha theta level of consciousness, where your brainwave is slowed down and you're in your subjective consciousness. And you get into that state and you make the inner world more real than your outer world of senses. You shut down your senses. Your eyes are closed. If you tilt your eyes up behind your eyelids, it's easier to get into that state, as if you're looking at your third eye. It puts you in that altered state. You can be flat on your back, but make sure your head is straight. You can also do it sitting in a chair, but just totally relax and let go, and then visualize that end result. And you can pick an event that will happen. Like I picked walking through my house before I built it, or even knowing where I would build it. You can picture yourself shaking hands with someone after you've completed something that you know you're going to get congratulated for, and you feel that feeling of satisfaction, fulfillment after it's finished, and it will effortlessly fall into place. I did that when I wanted to write a book. I thought I had to move to some exotic place like Paris or wherever to get the inspiration. And then I realized I could just write my book wherever I was. And I felt myself like I had written a book, and it fell into place. So I put that book out there too, called Secrets of a Metaphysical Flight Attendant. And it's all about how you can go on that journey. It's my memoir, but it'll give you some tips and hints on how you can do anything. Doesn't matter what your job is. I mean, I was a flight attendant, and I was able to find incredible teachers and have experiences that were so transformative. So once you go into that state akin to sleep and you make the action real, you have to really feel like you are living in that state, and you don't look back. You just accept you are living in that state that you desire to be in. And it doesn't matter how insurmountable the 3D world looks at the time that you do it. You would be amazed at how, if you learn how to go into that state akin to sleep, go within and really feel like you're experiencing that end result, it will happen. Get my course, the Mega Manifestation Method. It'll give you the meditations and the insights in every category of life as to how you too can use these metaphysical techniques to realize your dreams.